edit.
What was it when you decided you knew you wanted to be an actor?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it was sort of something that I always did from childhood, like playing around with video cameras and school plays and things like that. But it wasn't until grade 12, I think, I did a...
So it wasn't when you were a little kid or
No.
anything? Just, yeah, okay.
NHL, fireman, there was a whole bunch of different plans, but in the end I did a play and I sort of, the rush of coming off and live audience, I was like, yeah, I could do this.
And you went to Ryerson?
Went to Ryerson.
And so how did that help you kind of shape your career?
Ryerson, when I went, was a fantastic school. Really great teachers, very inspiring, very challenging, and just great work. Like again, just like building blocks to the motivation, to the excitement, and I've been very fortunate since I left.
Yeah,
that helps too.
Yeah, for sure. And I was going to ask you, okay, so because kids always come out of school and they're like, okay, what do? I got to wait tables, or I got to do this, or how did it?
There was plenty of that. Don't worry. Yeah.
Okay, well I'm sure. So how did it evolve for you? Like, what was your first big break?
My first actor credit was on a show called Regenesis, and it was a day I did, and then I was part of the union, and then it's kind of official at that point.
Yeah.
And every year I set goals, and I was able to attain them, and it's been I've been very fortunate. I can't say that enough. Very fortunate is sort of a key word.
Well, staying in Canada too, is that important to you?
I would yeah. I mean, I want to stay close to home. I want to stay close to family. We're doing a lot of great work here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of exciting shows, a lot of exciting movies shooting here. So it's very great to be able to do what you want to do and be happy with what you're doing.
Yeah.
In your home.
I'm sure. Yeah, and it's also good too because some of the shows that you have been working on are getting exposure across the border and stuff. So have you been finding that you're getting that attention from people in the U.S. or in the U.K. or wherever it airs?
Little bits here and there. I mean, I've expanded my team. I have management in LA now. I was down there a couple weeks ago to do some meetings, which is a whole other thing, a whole other world. And walked into a store down in Melrose and got recognized. So that was weird, and it comes with the territory. I think I'm gonna get used to it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that because for you, I guess the biggest thing is when an actor when he's on a show or and you walk into a place called Comic-Con. I can't even imagine what that must be like for somebody like you.
I don't think anyone can be prepared for what San Diego Comic-Con is. It's the most insane love fest in a healthy way, I think, that anyone could ever imagine. And if you could bottle it up and pass it out over the world, I think the world would be a better place. It's quite remarkable, the love and the just the good feelings and just how it sort of gratifies what you're doing.
Yeah.
This is touching people. This means something to people. I mean, without going into detail about certain specific stories, like people were getting up during our panel and just sort of telling these personal stories of how Orphan Black, how these characters changed their lives, and tearing up, holding back tears, it's quite remarkable how an art form can affect people in a positive way and change their lives.
How does that make you feel as an actor? when you hear that kind of stuff?
I mean, I guess that's why we're doing it. I mean, in the long run, it really counts to be doing things that touch people, and it's not just fluff.
Yeah.
So it means a lot. It means a lot that to be a part of projects that are touching people.
Yeah, you of course, before we get into the Orphan Black, I just want to touch on a couple of other things that you've been in, but show 12 Monkeys and also Rain, and Rain, it's just such a lavish, amazing production, and the people on that show phenomenal. I mean, oh yikes! To you know, to play the role that you played on that, and to work on that set, what was that like?
I love horses, and so I got to ride a horse on that show. And,
Bonus.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I don't pretend to know anything about horses or know how to do it. So it was quite an experience.
But that's why you're an actor.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was quite an experience to get. I think we only got one master take of the shot because the horse could sense that I didn't know what I was doing, so it didn't want to stay still. So that was an experience unto itself, and it was really great. But horses are amazing, and any chance you get to pretend to be what you're not, and like royalty or a cowboy or someone who rides a horse. I don't care what it is. I'm so excited every time.
Yeah, those Game of Thrones actors, huh?
Exactly.
they know what they're doing. Who have you learned from the most so far that you've worked with?
Oh wow.
Or even just like what, you know, you watch them and you're like, oh my God, you know, will I ever attain to be like that? Or
I mean, I definitely have. I'm definitely a fan of so many actors, but specifically, I find myself that I learn the best just watching these actors, the experienced actors, great actors when I'm on set, even if I'm not acting in the scene with them. If I go and I just sort of watch how they do their coverage, what liberties they take when they can.
yeah,
Stephen McCaddy, who lives in Guelph. Nick Campbell, he was on the show this year.
yeah,
That might be a spoiler, but I've always admired his work, and of course Tatiana, and the lessons I've had to quickly learn this season when playing multiple characters in the same scene.
I can imagine. Okay, so we'll let's start talking about Orphan Black, because I just love that show. It's so compelling. It's just, oh my God. And to watch somebody like Tatiana and how she's evolved, and it's like you say, we were talking earlier off camera about how the show needs to get more recognition and why it's not getting Emmy awards and all these kinds of things. But to watch her performance and play 9, or like, oh my God, how she does it. And then you find out, you were in season 2, and it was a character, from what I understand, was they didn't even know if they were going to keep you on. And then
I was going to die.
That's right.
I was going to die.
And then sure enough,
for certain.
Here you are. We watched the season finale of 2, the last episode. Clone Man, I love it. It's great. Clone bro, I guess. Because now we know for sure there's going to be 3 at least.
At least.
So you watch her performance and see what she does. And is it the kind of thing where you went over to her and go, what do I do? What's your secret? How did she help you?
It was definitely very overwhelming finding out that I was going to be a clone. I found out about this time last season, about within the schedule, and that was around the time that they were shooting the Clone Dance Party, which was in the season finale of the season 2.
Yeah.
So I just went to set and I just sort of observed, because there's the whole camera process, there's the switch over, there's so many things that you would never think about, or that are not a part of just a normal day of acting on a normal show. But this show has multiple characters, multiple clones, and so there's this whole new aspect and learning curve that had to happen. So that was the beginning of it. I certainly, as I said, watched Tat as much as I could to see how she maneuvered around that, and then we had the summer hiatus where I could go back and sort of figure out who these guys were going to be.
Right.
Talk to people, talk to Tat, acting coaches, and then get really excited and hit the ground running when we started this season.
So what's your process? Like, how do you, compartmentalize each character, and then have to learn script for 3 different people, and oh my God, wow, I couldn't even remember what I ate for breakfast this morning. Like, oh my goodness,
It's definitely a muscle. The memory is. I took it as it came. I didn't really sort of allow it to get out in front of me and become daunting. I just sort of took it one day at a time, and then I finally got used to it. But it is such an extraordinarily different process. So hopefully the skills will pay off in sort of a normal role coming down with the sort of the planning. But that's exactly what it is. It has to be a whole lot of planning, especially because when you're in a scene with yourself, in a normal circumstance, I would know who I am, know the scene, plan out kind of where I begin the scene and where I'm supposed to end up, and that would be that. But in this circumstance, when I'm acting opposite myself, I have to do that, but then I also have to be aware of the other character's journey and make sure that their voice is being heard in the first take when I'm the first character. Otherwise, I'm stuck with what the first performance was, and then I have to, with the second character, only feed into that first character. So the balance this year and the challenge this year was learning how to make sure that they were both being heard at the same time on the first take, so then the second take could make sense.
Too complicated.
Very complicated. I think I confused myself explaining that to you.
Yeah, but you know, and I can imagine too that for you it must help as well to get into the makeup, into the character. So like,
Certainly.
The character that we saw at the end of that season finale. Now, was that Rudy? No, that was
with the scar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Rudy.
That's Rudy. So that's the scar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now there's one with stars on his eyes.
That's Rudy still.
That's still Rudy. Okay, because there's Mark.
There's Mark, who we knew through all of season 2. And then in the season finale, we met Mohawk Scar, Rudy. Then we met the military guy as Helene is being carted off into the plane, and that's Miller.
Miller, right, right, amazing.
And there may be more.
Yeah, oh yeah, listen, for you, I hope so. I mean, it's just, and for us as viewers to watch it, like I said to you, it's just so compelling to see one person play so many different people, but yet each one has its own, you know, personality, and it's phenomenal. Like, hats off to you. And I haven't even really seen anything yet, but wow, I can hardly wait. So as you know, this show has such a huge fan base. I mean, it's crazy. Have you had any kind of crazy fan experiences yet? I know it's just, you're just coming into fruition and stuff, but what's it been like?
I mean, Comic-Con for one. Being noticed every once in a while in Toronto is kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then social media. I mean, we have a very avid and supportive and amazing key group of clone clubbers, as they're called, and they know the show inside and out. They are, all the teasers that are coming out, they are feeding into them. They're reading. They're figuring stuff out that no one is supposed to know yet. Even it's just through the reveals of certain shots in the teaser.
Right.
They'll notice something and then they'll figure that out because they'll bring it together. And it's like, you're not supposed to know that yet. It's amazing.
Yeah.
They're incredible.
They're
fans.
on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On top of it.
Yeah. They just released like the other day just a scene, like a clip from the show already. I watched it yesterday, and I'm like, oh yeah, like this is so exciting, you know. And now, did you know Tatiana at all before you even started this? Because I think that you guys did some improv show or something together in Ottawa.
We had friends in common.
Yeah.
One of my former roommates, Payson, he went to school with Tat in Regina. Yeah. So when we played improv in high school, we both made it to the finals, and so the boldest was there, KCVI was here, and everyone's cheering everyone on, and so we mingled after at the after party, and so I knew Payson years later and met his friends, and Tat was one of them. So we knew each other.
Yeah, it's a small world though.
It's a small world.
Yeah, well,
especially the Toronto acting community. Yeah.
Exactly. So now, after having worked with her a bit and watching what she does on the show, what impresses you the most about her?
Well, I just took a breath in. To me, that's what it is her ability to breathe through the scene, to just be present. It's quite remarkable, and those are the lessons I've really learned from her this year, and that's really what I'm now trying to work towards is just how it's because of the storyline. think Sarah's had a gun pulled on her every day. I think the whole, from season 1 to season 3, it's about a month of real time.
Yeah.
So I think she's at least Sarah's had a gun pulled on her 30 times.
At least.
At least. And so within the high octane adrenaline rush that is the show, she can step back and take a breath and be present and then launch into it. It's quite remarkable.
So without really obviously going into detail as to what you've shot so far, what can fans expect for this season?
More of the same. Obviously, Project Castor is now hot on the tail of Project Lita, and we are going to make things very difficult for the sisters.
Oh, can't wait. I can't wait. Oh, especially Helena. Oh my God. I love Helena. Like, she's just, do you have a favorite clone?
Helena was my favorite.
Yeah. Pretty amazing to watch her play Helena.
Yeah.
Wow. Really cool. So aside from this, yes, I know this is keeping you very, very busy, but what other things do you have in the mix?
Got a project coming up sometime this year, I think, called Hunter's Moon, which is a Scooby-Doo meets werewolf movie. Directed by Matt Campagna, and starring, among others, Colm Feore, Holly DeVoe, Steve Morano, Art Hindle. So it's a good one.
And tell us just a little bit how, what you play and...
I play a character named Remy, who... Art Hindle's character is this sort of eccentric millionaire who invented this game. And so Remy, my character, is the representative from the PR firm who is there to help launch this game, but also to keep him under wraps and under control. Otherwise, things could get a little crazy.
Oh, wow. And when do we expect to see that?
Hopefully later on this year.
Oh, good. And Colm Feore, working with somebody like that.
Priceless.
No words?
No words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That man's just Canadian icon.
Exactly.
It's amazing. Well, congratulations to you on everything. It's just been a pleasure to talk to you, and best of luck. And I can't wait for season 3 to start April 18th, right?
Yeah.